and I need to set up Virago, so I have little carts. I don't have a what's Michael bought this week, but we could do something like what's aggravating Michael with the web this week.
Oh, what really grinds his gears?
Yeah, something like that. Man, if you press question mark on a website and you saw, because question mark is the quote unquote unofficial, what are the keystrokes
universal
on this
help
web page?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you press question mark on a website and you find the table and it says, oh, if you press GH, that'll take you home, or GN, that'll take you to your notifications. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think should happen if you press GH or GN? It should take you to your home or your notifications, or J moves you to the next post and K moves you back. That should take you to those posts, but it doesn't on Mac or on Windows with JAWS.
Huh.
So LinkedIn, this is why I get frustrated with.
Oh, LinkedIn. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I find this a lot on the web where keystrokes are, I think keystrokes are put in, but they're not tested with a screen reader user. So someone not using a screen reader is like, oh yeah, you know, these two keystrokes followed by each other work. But then when you add a screen reader, that can add another level of complexity. And yes, I did press JAWS keys Z like Zulu to disable virtual viewer. No, I did not try it with any other Windows screen reader. And yes, did you know there's an option in VoiceOver under web that says something like always allow keys on web pages?
Uh-huh.
That is checked.
See, I'm not exactly sure, though, because that's been there for a while. I'm not certain if that does what we all think it does.
I don't think it does anything. Well, maybe it does, because the help text somewhere, I don't know where, oh, that's what it was. So if I uncheck this and then I check it again, it does pop up a little alert that says this option enables you to navigate any website using keyboard commands, including arrow keys. The behavior of arrow keys may be affected to enable this for specific websites, setup, and activity. So I don't know if checking that box is what allows us to, most of the time, not all of the time, use arrow keys to navigate through a web page, or if that allows you to use shortcut keys on a web page. And if it doesn't, it should.
So that's why I say I'm not sure if it does what we think it does, or if it does anything, like you said, because typically if I need to copy or navigate a web page, like with arrow keys, word by word, line by line, whatever, right? The best way and most consistent way I found to be able to do that is to toggle VoiceOver off and then turn it back on. And then for that little while, it'll work. Now, you know, an hour later or so, nope, not happening. Now I have noticed in some browsers, it's a little different. As well. Safari, that is very consistent to be able to get that to work. Chrome sometimes can be hit or miss.
What about Firefox? You use Firefox more than I do, or have you not tested it really there?
Firefox is just weird in general with VoiceOver stuff. Like, I'm just happy at this moment that like all of the expected navigation stuff works, minus, you know, depending on the arrow keys to work the way that they should. So I can bring up the item chooser and actually find stuff and get to it. I can bring up the, you know, navigation thing with the links or headings or whatever,
the web
right? And actually have that work. Yeah.
That's a frustrating part of web browsing on macOS. And then add the complexity of web developers who it doesn't work when you are in Windows.
Yeah. And we're at a point where like the side of me that has worked on web pages, even more modern stuff like using, you know, some of the JavaScript packages and things like that, understands the complexity. Also understand how people can get themselves into a mess where they just drop in a, you know, NPM package, which would be JavaScript, that's supposed to make keyboard navigation commands like GH, you know, GN work. And, you know, either they don't do accessibility testing or they just make the assumption it's going to work, or they just been told, or doing some research, found, oh, well, if you put this in, this makes this work. And like, they don't know how to test for the accessibility. They don't know how to test for the feature or just following the process, right? It's just, so I can understand all that. The crotchety part of me, which right now I'm very crotchety because I don't know what the hell I did to my back, but it well, I know how I did it. I just don't know what I did. And that's the frustrating part. Like, I know what I did to start this. I just don't know exactly what's been done. But nevertheless, I'm very crotchety. So the crotchety side of me is like, I should not, as a computer user, have to go test 4 different browsers across 2 operating systems and 3 different screen readers to figure out why this isn't working either. Like, it's not my problem to fix.
Yep.
But that's oftentimes what we're doing. And we do it so often. One, because most users aren't going to do that or even know how to do a lot of that, or just aren't going to bother if they didn't think of it. But me and you and others do it so often that when we're telling you that something didn't work the way it was supposed to, you automatically are like, oh, it didn't work in Safari, and it didn't work in Windows with JAWS, or it didn't work in Windows. It's just a natural thing to say.
And most users don't have the bandwidth to try multiple different things. And really they shouldn't, because you go to something, I'm trying to think of a website that works like it should. There is
Gmail mostly.
Yeah, true.
I mean, so it did for a very long time. Like and that's why standard HTML, or what was it called? Basic HTML view stuck around as long as it did. But, what has it been now? Maybe a couple of years? It may not be that long. When they said they were getting rid of basic HTML view. Yeah,
I'm not sure. It's been a while. It's been a little while. Yeah.
But
I'm on the Gmail website right now.
I didn't even know that they still had that view, because like Gmail has just been working, other than them shoving crap in there that we don't want in there. But that's a
everyone problem.
Yeah, that's an everybody problem. That's not an accessibility problem. I just want my email Google. Like, please stop trying to show me YouTube shorts in my Gmail. Like, this is not why I came here. But yeah, I had been using standard view because, hey, hitting C on the web page composes a new email. Imagine that. Command enter, or I think it may be control enter on Windows, will send my email. I think it's command shift enter will bring up options for like send later. So that worked.
What was that send later one?
I think it's command shift enter.
Oh, okay. I'll have to play with that. Yeah, I'm just browsing my email like I normally would on mail. I wonder, actually, hold on.
Hitting X selects a message that you have highlighted. And what's really amazing to me with Gmail is like, I can select a whole bunch of messages, like as I'm going down the list, and open up a message because I'm like, oh, I need to see what that's about. There's an email Mike said he was going to forward me. Open your email, read it, deal with it, come back to my inbox list, and all of the messages I previously selected are still selected.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh. And if you tap your right arrow, you can get to just the person or the subject line. That does act a little wonky.
That part's a little weird from time to time. Sometimes it's, that I would say is a little bit more inconsistent.
Yeah.
But
the worst that happens is it just reads you the person's name. It doesn't stop working. When you hear it say 17 selected, for example, pressing down. Anyways, yeah. And then use X, select the messages that you want to delete, tap E to archive. I think E is archive. Yep.
E is archive, which makes no sense. I don't know why it's not A. But, E to archive, and I think it's the number sign to delete.
But if you tap your question mark, guess what? It puts you on your keyboard shortcuts, like it should. And VoiceOver focus is moved right to the table. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. You do have to interact twice to get into the table for the keystrokes. Advance to previous chat or compose, send.
Oh, gee, I didn't have to search my email. You sent me the link again.
Now, here's my gripe about Gmail, because you always got to have a gripe. In order to use any of these keystrokes, you do have to go into your settings and enable keyboard shortcuts.
This is true.
So,
but to be
but
fair,
they work.
Everybody has to do that though.
Yes.
That's not just an accessibility screen reader user thing. It is irritating. There should be a shortcut to turn. Well, wait, no, mine it wouldn't work. So there should be a shortcut to turn on your shortcuts, but can't I see why that wouldn't work?
So, yeah, that was my gripe today. I was playing with LinkedIn and trying to get caught up, and ultimately, I probably go back to what I've always said: the best experience of LinkedIn is LinkedIn on Android with TalkBack.
Man, I just pulled out my Pixel 8 today.
I just charged up the S23 Plus today.
That's funny.
For no reason.
I actually pulled out the Pixel yesterday and I charged it. I was charging it up today.
Yeah. Yep. Same thing.
So that is funny. That is really funny.
No, we didn't talk about that at all.
Not at all. Like it wasn't even a thing. But yeah, I have the Pixel charged up. I'm probably going to wipe it and set it back up. I still don't think I'm ever going to be fond of a under glass fingerprint reader. Probably until Apple does it. Well, possibly until Apple does it. I'm going to say probably. Possibly until Apple does it. And Apple may do it better where it's more consistent. But I have serious problems with the under glass reader. I had that problem with the 6 Pro, Pixel 6 Pro. I think it was a 6 Pro. So I gave that to my mother and went back to the Pixel 5. And I bought the Pixel 8 Pro and still got the Pixel 5. So, and I thought about it, maybe I could trade mine in and go up to the Pixel 9. I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. It ended up costing me some kind of money and I still will be typing my password a lot. So, but yeah, I plugged that up and got it charged up and I'm probably going to wipe it, set it back up and because there are some things that are better on Android with TalkBack, including LinkedIn. So I did not listen to last week's show. Surprising absolutely no one. But how did it come out? How did it sound?
I think it came out pretty good. I'm not as big, longtime listeners know that we want to sound good, but I'm not the type of person that can tell between 128 and 320. I mean, maybe I could, but it still sounded pretty good to me. I enjoyed how clean it came out and how easy it was to get access to the files because I just stopped recording in Zoom and then it was right there. So I was able to just pull them right into Reaper. Tip Jar subscribers are going to get pre-access to this show because it is going out tomorrow since I'll edit it in the morning and we're actually recording on a Saturday night.
Yeah, and all I had to do was throw my back out.
Yeah, yeah, right?
Oh, man. So so I'll stop referencing. People know what happened. I get back from, also did not go to Georgia today, but that's because nobody called me to tell me they was coming to get me. But, back to the show. So I went down and did, college campus, yesterday afternoon. I get back and like, it probably hasn't come out to a lot of people. Mike may honestly be aware of it, but I've been getting more and more frustrated with the lack of organization and systems in my space. And some of it is just constrained because we moving is a pain in the butt. And, when you have accumulated as much stuff as we had, like there's a lot of stuff in the way. Well, last night I was just, it's like, I got to just start somewhere. Also, I was waiting for certain things like, to enclose the actual garage. So I went ahead and put down a down payment for that door. Said I wasn't going to say that on the show, but I did. I was waiting like, as soon as I get the door in, I'll start doing this. And last night I was like, man, I just had enough. Like, the level of dependence that I have on other people is really starting to drive me up the wall. Like it is making me personally crazy. And I'm not judging anybody else's dependence or lack thereof on anything. This is me. This is absolutely a me problem. So at any rate, I just started shoving stuff around in the garage. It's like, okay, I'm going to get these pallets and I'm going to stack all of mine. I'm going to separate my drinks. So I got, Coke products on this pallet, 20-ounce Coke products on this pallet. Still not as organized as I wanted, but I don't have enough room for that right now. So Coke products on this pallet, 20-ounce Pepsi products on that pallet, 16-ounce Coke stuff on this one, 16-ounce Pepsi stuff on that one. All right. So I got 4 pallets sitting in the middle of the floor of my garage. Well, in order to do this and to do it right, which means I needed to put all of my newer sodas, all of the newest purchased product on the bottom, so that I would be pulling, as I'm pulling stuff off the top, that is the older stuff in there. I was moving, basically I had to dismantle the entire pallet of Coke stuff that I just picked up, not this week before that. So that it would be up, because I didn't want that. I needed to be able to move the pallet, and I can't move the pallet if it's got, I don't know, like 1,000 pounds worth of sodas on it. I'm not that strong. I also don't have a pallet jack. So, if anybody knows of a good place to get like a little pallet jack or something for the low, I haven't even priced them. I'm just assuming they're expensive. At any rate, I basically moved that set of sodas off of one pallet over to another pallet, which, freed up that pallet to be moved around to where I actually wanted it. Well, in the course of doing that, I'm standing on one side of the pallet, and everybody that has moved anything, whether it was sodas or something else, you're reaching across and you reach over to grab a thing and you yank and you pick it up and you move it, right? This is what happens. The only problem was, one, I should have walked around there and lifted up the sodas instead of doing the thing that I did, because what I don't like to do, because I've learned, depending on what sodas are packaged in, whether they're in plastic or they're just sitting inside of a crate, not loose, but, just in a little crate, you knock stuff over possibly, or you tear plastic or something like that, right? And the last thing I want to be doing is chasing sodas around. So instead of sliding it across the sodas that case of Sprites actually was sitting on top of, I just yanked it up in the air and brought it to me. And then I felt something. I don't really feel anything pop. I just know I shouldn't have done it after that. It's all, put that where it needed to go, and kind of finished doing what I was doing. I was like, okay, now I think I really should sit down, because if I don't, I might not be able to get up when I fall down. And I've been in tremendous pain since then. So it's one of those stupid kid things that I did as a 42-year-old, essentially.
It's a reminder of your not youth anymore.
Well, it's a reminder that you shouldn't do stuff like that even when you're young, all right? Because, the first time I ever did any sort of damage to my back and straining a muscle is because I didn't listen when I was 13 and like, oh yeah, I'll just bend over and pick this up. No, you should lift with your knees. Yeah, it's not that heavy though. And ever since then, I've been a big proponent of lifting with your knees. So it's not even a youth thing. It's just like, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do so. Sometimes there's a good reason that there is a right way to do it, because people have done what you just did to yourself, doing it the wrong way. But at any rate, I don't know. And the funny thing is, like, I thought about it. Why don't I just walk around there and pick up the sodas instead of reaching across the entire pallet to grab them like that? And the fact is because I've gotten used to not being able to have full access to all sides of everything. So that's one of the reasons I did it that way. So it wasn't just like, oh, watch me. It was like, oh, I probably can't get close enough to that side of that pallet to grab those sodas the way I need to. So I'll just yank them over here. In retrospect, what I actually should have done is either tried to walk around there and get them, or just finish pulling the other sodas off until I could just, slide those over more easily. But nevertheless, none of that happened that way. So yeah.
I just set up Outlook on the Mac.
Yeah. What is your fascination with Outlook, dude?
I don't know. Everyone uses it.
No, they don't.
My other thought was it's a web-based app, I think. Did they do it right? And maybe I should download the LinkedIn app and sign into that and see if that's a better experience on Windows or the Mac.
Wait, there's a LinkedIn app for desktop?
There is for Windows.
Why?
Right? It's a website. You should be able to just go to the web page.
Huh. I wonder if you do that little Safari thing that I haven't never done and turn the web page into an app using Safari, if it'll work better.
Huh.
Presumably you were using Safari in the first place.
Well, I tried using Safari and Chrome, but yeah. Huh.
I have not used that feature at all since they introduced it. And it's funny because just a few years ago, I was a huge proponent of apps like Unite, Fluid. I'm trying to think of the one that did the Chrome apps, Coherence. I used to actually use those. I actually had a Coherence app that was the Chrome browser window for Source Now. And then Source Now made an app that was just an Electron app that basically did the same thing I had already done, so I didn't use their app.
Yeah, but you could put it on your dock, or you could, oh, that's interesting. Or you could just set up a coherence, or I mean, you could pin it to your dock or put it in your applications as well.
Yeah.
There was a good Apple Vis article or podcast talking about iPhone screen mirroring, and I haven't played with it, but I was just thinking, I wonder if LinkedIn on the iPhone with the iPhone app from a keyboard is any better than that way I don't have to swipe through. I can just go, I think it's just two swipes for each post. On Android, I haven't tried it in a little while, but it was just one swipe for each post. It works like Mona does, where it's the post and all of the menu actions to take action on that post are in your talkback actions, or the actions rotor for VoiceOver is what it would be if you were on VoiceOver. But on the iPhone, it's post and then actions and then post. And
Post and then actions. Yeah, which makes no sense. And I gotta say, I have seen quite a few. There was some app I was using like recently. It wasn't today. It was yesterday or the day before. And it kind of surprised me, their use of actions. I wish I could honestly remember what it was. But it kind of surprised me in their use of actions. One, because it's one of those apps from a company that you're like, they did above and be. Oh, you know what it was? I do remember what it was, and it wasn't yesterday or the day before. It might have been the day before. The Gusto app.
Oh.
They have actions, dude. It's like, last time I looked at the Gusto app, it was like, I can barely navigate this at all. It's not useful to me in any sort of way. And it's like, oh, now these guys got rotor actions that are useful.
That's pretty cool. Maybe I should download it, because last time I downloaded it, it was just a web wrapper, and it just wasn't pleasant.
No, it was not pleasant at all. That's a nice way of putting it. It was not pleasant. But no, it has improved like beyond all expectations. That's why I was surprised they even had actions. I was surprised I could navigate, and actually accomplish the things that I was trying to do inside of the app. But the fact that there were actions in some places, I was like, geez, I didn't think you guys would get the accessibility right. Let alone you went extra and put in rotor actions.
Right.
You should download it. Check it out. It's a good way to clock in, clock out. You can fix your hours or update your hours from within the app, which is the only thing I was using it for. I don't care about their wallet crap.
I will download it. So Command 1 takes you home in iPhone screen mirroring. Command 2 takes you to App Switcher. And then Command 3 takes you to Spotlight.
I tried doing that iPhone mirroring thing when you mentioned it to me a couple of weeks ago on the show. And, didn't work.
Didn't work?
It came up, but then I wasn't able to do anything with that. So I don't know. I ain't going back to it. It could be because my Mac is not on a beta and my phone is on a beta.
Yeah.
That could be a thing. That generally is the reason I expect stuff doesn't always work sometimes. I think I have resigned myself too, because I think some of the oddness, I think starting with the next time I either set up a new phone or wipe this phone and set it up as new, same with the computer. I'm not doing betas with my regular iCloud account. I'll have to sign in and do use my Apple ID for my store account, but use a different Apple ID for iCloud. Because I'm starting to suspect that some of the weirdnesses that pop up at times are due to the fact that, hey, this part of my account can do this, but, all the other devices signed into that same account don't even know that thing exists. because I won't run my Mac on a beta at all. Like I just not my Mac that I depend on doing work on. I will not put that on a beta, which is weird. I know to some people, but I do more on the Mac than I do on the phone. So I can deal with the phone being a little weird. And there's also enough phones laying around here that if I just need a phone to work so I can make phone calls, I can get my SIM card on one of those.
And you have something that you're comfortable. It may not be your primary device, but you're comfortable switching to Android if you had to. If everything was broken.
Yeah, like that I could do easily enough. No big deal.
So if you played with Hazel 6?
Man, I didn't even know Hazel 6 was out. I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't played with it either yet. I knew it was out, but I actually forgot about Hazel. It's one of those things that just works until you need it to do something. And then Steven asked me today if I had any content on Hazel. Because unless you kind of have... I learn the best if I hear someone else doing something. I could probably figure the app out, but if I can hear someone else doing it, then to me that helps me figure out how I can go navigate and find other parts of it. So I went to unmute.show, typed in Hazel, and it popped right up. And that made me think, I should look at what's new with Hazel 6. I don't remember what all was new. It's a $20 upgrade from 5 to 6, which isn't bad. At least you know Noodlesoft is making money with those upgrades, which helps them want to continue making updates, and then you don't have to become the product that much because Hazel has access to all of your files. Both the file names and the contents of them.
That was almost a month ago it came out too. Well, I got an email. I just searched my email for Hazel 6 because I realized I needed to. Yeah, Hazel is one of those apps that usually, and I just hadn't set it up with the last wiping of the Mac because I didn't want to restore from some of my rules because I know I didn't have the same setup. Like the external drive wasn't always connected to where it used to be. So I hadn't really set up any rules since reinstalling it. And therefore, and I didn't know Hazel 6 was out, but I tend to upgrade Hazel every time there's an upgrade. Cause like I said, for me, it's usually a $20 upgrade. I think that's what it's always been since first purchasing it. And I'm guessing Paul, I think it's Paul, that's the developer behind Hazel, makes enough with the, few tens of thousands of people that upgrade Hazel every year or every 2 years, to make it worthwhile. I mean, How much money does a person need? But Hazel does have access to a lot of stuff. Man, we should have talked about this when it happened because there was that one app that a lot of people loved and used. I don't think it was really a great app in the accessibility community. I think there was, issues with it, at least in the past. Where they sold the app to a new developer. Not that they had done anything malicious with it at the point that people figured out it had been sold. It's just that it was kind of like quietly done and there wasn't really any hey, we sold this app to, these guys.
So-and-so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was lack of communication.
Lack of communication. The internet collectively lost their minds, which I don't blame them because, there's plenty of, including this week, I heard a story of a Chrome extension that was used to block YouTube shorts on YouTube. So like they wouldn't show up at all. And the developer sold the extension to another company who immediately put in code to start tracking their users of their extension all over the internet. It's like, okay, that's nice.
And unfortunately, if you're not paying attention, or even if you're out of the loop of what's going on, your stuff's still going to work the same way. You just don't know that ownership has changed. Yeah.
And the sad thing about it is everything could continue to work as expected, until it doesn't. And by that time, they've harvested all the data on you. If you are looking to block YouTube shorts for some reason, or a lot of other stuff on the web that gets in your way is annoying. Unless you are a Safari user. If you're a Safari user, I don't think we have the same options. But Chromium-based browsers and Firefox, uBlock Origin is a excellent solution that is still installed in my Firefox sync profile forever ago, from forever ago. It's kind of like the all-in-one kind of extension. It could do the basic just blocking trackers, but you can dig down into it and really have it filter out some stuff.
So you didn't listen to last week's episode, and it was a short episode. It was only 39 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, what the hell are we doing?
I don't know. Either that or I made a big edit and didn't realize it. So if someone's like, where did that whole conversation go? Let us know. But when I rendered it was 39. No, that's what it was. Actually, hold on. I owe Robin a shout out, Robin Frost, because you know how when I edit at like 1.6, 1.7x, right?
Yep.
So when I rendered the project, I reset play rate to 0, but for some reason, when I was increasing the play rate, it was changing the BPM of the Reaper project. So I didn't even think anything of it. And I rendered the project after I hit the keystroke to set play rate to 1. And then I sent it through Alphonic. And then about an hour later, Robin drops me a message on Mastodon. And she's like, I know I listened to my podcast a little fast, but you and Damashe on Technically Working sound super fast this week. I'm not sure what's going on or if it can be fixed. I'm like, oh, okay. Either I forgot to reset the play rate or the bit rate or the BPM changed. So I was able to quickly fix it, run it back through Alphonic. It was 39 minutes, and then it was 61 minutes after I fixed the BPM. That's where the difference came from.
I was going to say, because that seems exceptionally short.
yeah, that would be a Marty show. But I had 31.
Say that's shorter than a Marty show,
right? I had 39 minutes in my head for some reason because I wanted to talk about that process. So if you were some of the first couple of people to download it and you didn't know, you can go she reset her play rate to 0.08, and she said it just didn't sound right though. So you're welcome, Robin. Fixed it.
Well, actually, thank you, Robin. We appreciate you listening, first of all, and being one of the first people so that you caught that mix up right there and it was able to get fixed.
And I almost missed your shout out. So
if it was up to me, I might have found out yesterday. Because I almost listened to the show yesterday. I decided I'd take a nap.
That would have been funny if you listened to it yesterday and took that long for, I don't know if funny's the right word. Actually would have been a little disconcerting.
Would have been a little sad at that point because it's like nobody listens.
Yeah.
Is it thought to tell us that this is a problem? It's like, okay, these download numbers are somehow inflated.
We'll wrap the show up then if that's the case.
Right.
So we appreciate your feedback, both on Mastodon and via the email, because we always tell you how to reach out, feedback at technicallyworking.show.
Yeah. Insta360.
So what did we put in the Google Doc in our minds?
Oh man, that is actually there's actually some stuff in the Google Doc.
But is macOS going to let you access it?
That is the question. Doc.
If anyone out there knows how, when I open Parallels Desktop or I switch to Parallels Desktop, I can stop the Control Center window, which provides me no value from being in focus because I have to go over to Window and then go up to Windows 11 and hit Enter, and now I'm in Windows 11. So I'm sure it's one of the preferences I can disable in Parallels to get whatever that Control Center window out of the way is, but it is nice to be able to just Command Tab and Now, when I'm trying to command tab over to answer a call in Zendesk, that's not nice because got to go up to the menu bar, got to go over to window, got to go up to Windows 11. Then I got to press Control F6 most of the time because focus is at that point in the address bar. And then I got to find the accept button. So
wait, what? What? Okay, I need to look at how my settings are configured, and because I don't have any of that.
you can just Alt Tab into Windows.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if it's something in my view menu. Do you use full screen?
No.
I wonder if that's it. Because I'm using full screen because when I arrow through in Zendesk in not full screen, when I'm arrowing through the composer, I get one word per line. But if I switch to full screen, then I'm able to up and down and I get the normal line length in an edit box.
Huh. Okay. I'll have to play around with that too.
Okay.
But no, I rarely ever use full screen for anything unless I'm trying to do like a screen recording or something so I can show somebody a thing. Or there's one other reason I tend to go to full screen. I feel like it's on a specific website to get something to work.
And I just tested it. And when I disable full screen, Control Center goes away. So Control Center has something to do with full screen, which means there's probably something in preferences that I can change. So I can use full screen in parallels and then not. But I'll play with a couple other things. Now that I got my Control left and right arrow keys working, like Windows isn't a horrible experience for me. I find myself just jumping back and forth. It used to be with parallels that when I would jump into Windows, it wasn't a struggle, but it didn't work the way that I expected it to. And it still doesn't fully work. Like I can't reliably use Windows T to get to the taskbar. But
that never works for me.
Yeah. So maybe I can't ever get it to work anyways.
Windows B to get to your system tray.
Those don't work. And I don't know why. However, now that I have the Apple script that I can run, and I need to figure out how to assign this to a numpad commander, but that I can run and that turns the caps lock key into an insert key, then I can do caps lock T and that reads the title bar for me. I'm an avid user of the laptop layout with JAWS. So that's really handy. And then I've been playing with this this FS companion, which is kind of an interesting bot if you have JAWS questions. It's always funny when he gets things wrong, though. Well, funny isn't the right word, because I think of the end user who's typing a question in, and then it tells them the wrong answer, and then they go do it, and it doesn't work the way they expect, and then they get frustrated. It's kind of amusing to me that with all the training data, it gets the wrong answers, and I wonder how that's going to tighten up in the near future.
Yeah, it can be amusing at times to see the wrong answers, especially how comically wrong they are. Like, it's always
when you say, "Didn't you mean?" and it's like, "Oh, you're right. This is how you do it."
Oh, you're right. This is exactly how you do that. It's like, are you sure that's how that works? You're right. It's not how that works. This works this way. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way either, actually.
Well, like I use GPT to find me on LinkedIn if you're not, and you can check this out. But I use GPT to write a post from a transcript of April 9th, 2024 for Unmute, the Community Unmuted show. And I said, take this transcript, which, by the way, I was able to paste that 60-minute transcript into the GPT edit field, and it actually worked, and it didn't break GPT, so that's saying something. But I said, take this transcript and generate me a list of all the questions that were in this show. And it gave me 18 questions. I did not go through, but the questions that were given to me seem close enough for what I was going to be doing with it that those would have been questions that would have been asked on the show. I then said, okay, take these questions, pick one of them, share a introduction to the episode, and give the answer in a LinkedIn post, encouraging people to go to unmute.show and listen to more content like this. And then it took one of the questions, which was, how do I delete a message from my messages or from my message thread and not an entire message? That's a pretty good question. Like there may be a reason to need to do that. And it's not something done common enough that, it may be asked. And then GPT told me, or in the post came back and said, well, it said that was the question. And then it gave the 3 steps to do this. Tap and hold on the post, tap the trash can icon in the top right corner or whatever, right? But it used icons. And I came back to GPT. I'm like, are you sure that's how we responded to that question? And it's like, oh, you're right. No, that's not how you responded to that question. You said, make sure that VoiceOver actions is selected and then flick up to more. And then the message will be selected, locate, delete in the bottom row of buttons. And I'm like, that sounds more accurate. But it was just making up. It wasn't making it up. It was assuming what the information was, because it wasn't wrong information. It just wasn't what we told people. Oh no, did I lose you, Damashe?
No, I'm looking at this Google Doc. Huh, I need to double check my my little applet.
Oh no!
Also forgot
things.
Also, I feel like I added more than what's in here, and we talked about that Clean My Mac thing. Yeah. So I had an interesting use case for GPT this week. I was browsing the catalog of Stacy Williams, which is a snack company here in Alabama. And there's some things, surprisingly, that I didn't know. Like, what is that? Like, I have no idea what that is. Like, some of it is due to because like they compressed the name. Like, it may be, I don't know. Like, these one things I was looking at were Reaper curls. They were Carolina Reaper curls is what they're actually called. But the way they were, chopped up, the wording was chopped up. It was like car Reaper curl. I was like, what is this? So I threw it into Chat GPT, like, describe the snack, hers, and then I pasted in the car Reaper curl, or however they had it worded. And it came back and explained to me that this was a cheesy puff snack from hers. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what it said. But basically, it's a cheese puff that is seasoned with, that uses the Carolina Reaper pepper, for kick. And I was like, okay, I should get some. I should actually order those. Like, I've seen these before in the catalog as I'm looking at stuff. I was like, I don't know what the hell that is. But I looked at the price of them and the size of the bag, and I was like, I should probably try some of these.
So you're going to try some of them?
I already ordered them. I picked them up the other day.
Okay. Where are they going to be?
Oh. Man, they're out there. They're in machines, man.
Where can listeners go get them? They can fly in and get them.
Well, actually, they'll be at the rest area in a couple of days. They're already out at some other locations. I don't really think you could just go in there and get those snacks, though. That's probably not going to work. But, yeah, I did that with several snacks. Like, I wasn't exactly sure, like, what is this? Or I wanted an explanation of, like, what is the flavor profile of this? Or how does that work? And I found it to be surprisingly useful. And what was even more astonishing to me, I think, is not only was the information fairly accurate, and I say that because I didn't click through the links, but there were actually links out to different websites where there was the manufacturer website, or surprisingly, there's like vending snack review sites or something. I don't know, but one of them showed up several times across the
research
session that we had. Yeah. So I was like, this is an interesting use of GPT that I don't think I would have thought about 6 months ago.
Yep. You're using technology in your business, not shying away from it. My little sister asked me, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, and she's 2 years younger than me, so her and I grew up pretty close, and she asked me, well, I told her, I said, have you heard of these Meta Ray-Bans? Because she works for T-Mobile in the sales. And she's like, yeah, what are they, though? And I told her what they were. And she's like, how are they helping you? I'm like, Amanda, having Meta Ray-Bans and AI right now is almost like having you on my shoulder all the time, describing things to me like you were when we were kids. I didn't tell her this, but I was also thinking it F's with me like you did when we were kids as well by hallucinating. But I also told her, I said, pay attention to what's going on with AI, because it's like the internet was when we were growing up in the early 2000s, late 90s. It's one of those things that some people are going to resist. They're not going to embrace it and take advantage of it. But I suspect that AI as it is now is only going to get better than what it is. And at some point it's going to be everywhere, like the internet currently is. And like it or not, that's where we're going in this world nowadays.
Yeah, I'm curious. I don't think I don't think necessarily the path that seemingly everyone is taking right now is ultimately where we're going to end up. But I am, curious to see where it goes. Like, I feel like the current approach of just throw more power at it, throw more compute resources at it, throw more, data center resources at the language models, and they will be able to do more. They can scrape more of the internet. They can do more. I don't think that's a sustainable approach. It does kick out some amazing things, but I also wonder how much spending time to maybe train a more focused personal AI, bot would be helpful versus, and with the ability to go out. So like, I've been poking around at some of the custom GPTs that people have built. I think we talked about the one that was like a legal bot. I found one recently that was like a tax consultant or whatever, right? And obviously I'm going to double check any facts that gives me, because now we messing with the IRS. But I was just curious, like, one, had anybody made one? And two, like, how good was it? And I had just some random questions about some things that I wanted to know. Like, it answered them reasonably well. I found that to be more helpful than asking a general bot, because it seemed like asking general GPT, because it seemed like this had been trained specifically on like tax law and things like that, which makes a lot more sense if I have tax questions, right? Like, this may not be a thing to go sit down with an accountant to talk about. It's like, oh, I just got a quick question. Can I do this thing? Or does it make sense to take this approach? And essentially what I walked away with for the question I had was like, yeah, you know what? I think I'll just skip that.
Right.
Hold on one sec.
Some mysteries can be solved by looking at the facts, but in some cases, answers lie in the unknown. I'm Ashley Flowers, and each week on my podcast, So Supernatural, we explore some of the world's most bizarre occurrences and unravel...
Man, so I was going to come back and tell you how I was able to stand up smoothly all in one motion this time, which is the first time I've done that in the last 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But then I put my headphones back on. I was like, what the hell is this?
Oh, the ad. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I was playing an ad in, and that's good that you were able to get up smoothly, but I was trying to figure out, what do you mean? What the hell is this? And then I forgot that I knew I hit the button because I turned it off, but now I know what you're talking about.
It's like, is this an AI podcast? Like, did my show just get taken over by AI? Like,
yeah, your show got took over by Alexa ads because I'm too cheap to pay for Amazon Music. With no,
don't you use Apple Music on the Alexa, or is that
I used to, but the thing with Alexa is you have to reconnect things sometimes, and I don't have the Alexa app on my phone right now, so I'm just like, play me some music.
Okay, gotcha.
I will reconnect it because the music selection it picks, like it's not my Apple Music selection, so I will reconnect it to Apple Music.
Oh man, I don't know if anybody favorites music in Apple Music. I do occasionally. Actually, I do. Apparently, I do it quite a bit because I just hit the playlist last night while I was working, and I was like, oh, let me I need some music. I like a couple of the playlists I built. I haven't really finished building them, which is the problem with playlists. Like I'm not that focused of a person who like, I'm going to build out this entire playlist. It's like, I got 27 songs on here. I know there's more stuff, but I can't remember. So there was a playlist at the top that was like favorites. I was like, oh, this is all the stuff I've favorited over the years. Okay. Yeah. Let's see what we got. So other than a couple of things that were favorited where I'm like, oh, I think that must have been one of those situations where by the time I got the phone out and tapped the button, to favorite it, it already gone to the next
Went
song.
to the next song. Yep.
Cause I'm like, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have favorited that. Like, never been that intoxicated in my life. It's like, that's an instant skip.
I've been using the recognize music feature on iOS a lot more too, to start building out songs I like. So when you're out in public, yesterday we were at the bank taking care of some business and I heard a song and I'm like, I don't know what song this is. So some people may know I replaced the flashlight on, maybe it was a camera, whatever the bottom left one is on my lock screen, with the recognize music widget. So now I just hit the lock button, tap the recognize music widget, wait for my phone to vibrate, and then I lock my phone and put it away. The nice thing about that is I don't have to do anything else. If I want to see what that song was, you pull the control center down, flick up on the song recognition widget, and there's more options. Double tap on that, go to the bottom of the screen with 4 fingers, taps at the bottom. It'll say history, tap on that, and then it sorts it by month. So I have a list of all the songs I've ever used song recognition with. And then you just tap on it to open it in Apple Music.
That is, yeah, I do like the way that integration works now compared to the way it used to work. Yeah. I've been using that a whole lot more myself too. I didn't think about adding it to my lock screen though, so there's an idea. I'll do that. But yeah, that is handy. But a really nice playlist off of stuff I've just favorited. I mean, it's still going. Apparently I favorited a lot of stuff over the years. But I've been an Apple Music subscriber for about 10 years now, so it makes sense.
Are you shuffling it or are you just playing it straight through?
No, I shuffled it.
Yeah, I have to shuffle it because if I play it straight through, it's like I just heard that song. I liked it then, but right now I don't want to hear it because now it's starting to sound like FM radio.
Yeah, no, I shuffle. Yeah. I shuffle most of the playlists that I have personally made or built or had a hand in building.
So you can tell Siri to play a cancel. I don't even know if it's going off, but cancel to play My Station, I think is what it's called. And that's how I discover new music too. So it plays a lot of the favorited songs, but it plays similar music to that either maybe I haven't played or I've played, but I may not remember it. No, some of it I don't like, but it's a good way to discover some new similar music.
I hadn't tried that before. What I do know is, I have used quite a bit, shuffle my such and such playlist in Apple Music, things like that, or play this. I haven't actually played an album in a while. I think it's been mostly either play an artist or play a playlist. Has been
we have the HomePod Mini in the living room now.
Oh, the HomePod Mini.
Yep.
Hey, have you heard? So I'm assuming you've heard about this thing that I can't remember who put it out there. I think it may have been Mark Gurman from Bloomberg. This Apple screen device, wall-mounted device that they're supposed to release sometime next year.
I keep hearing things about one, but we've heard about that for years. So honestly, I stopped listening when rumors were coming out.
So the only reason I'm even mentioning this at all, well, one, because your HomePod thing kind of triggered that for me, but also because there's a lot of detail. It's not just this nebulous, oh, Apple's going to make a HomePod with a screen. And that's all you get. It's like, it's going to be, and I don't remember all the details, but like there's a lot of details about it now that have never been, spoken before. I don't, like it's like he's got more information. Like this may actually be a real thing. So apparently it's going to run a modified version of one of their OSs, but they're going to call it Home OS, I think.
Oh boy.
Modified version of Apple TV OS, I think is what it's going to be. So I'm going to call it Home OS. It's not going to have apps. It will have a screen. You will be able to control things in your Apple Home, view cameras if they are, in Apple Home, I'm assuming. Control devices, play music, and to supposedly do FaceTime calls, which it's always funny to me when somebody mentions a product that Apple is working on at all that, oh, and you'll be able to do FaceTime. And it's like, yeah, but nobody uses FaceTime.
Yeah. Yep. I've been on some group FaceTime calls recently, and it's been a solid experience. The problem is getting others to use it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with FaceTime on the phone. It's just banned from my Mac. Like if I could figure out how to get down in the, I mean, I probably could. If I could figure out how to do it without it making my system unstable, I would rip it out of Mac OS. See, I don't think there's a way to do it without making the system unstable.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like a lot of Apple's default built in, they're already installed apps on the Mac. You can rip them out, but I'd advise you to Google about doing that before you do it, because there are stories of people who, like the chess app, like I don't even know how to play chess. I used to vaguely know how because I read the rules and started practicing, but I couldn't have, nobody wanted to play with me. The people I was around back then, nobody wanted to play chess. So I don't really know how to play chess. But one reason the chess app, and what is that other app? And they may have finally taken that one out. Let me go look. I think it was the DVD player.
Yeah, I think they took that one out.
But it was there for a long time. Yeah, they've taken it out now. Because it was a part of the checksum, for the software. So like if you got a Mac that didn't have DVD player in it, you knew you had a hacked version of Mac OS. So you probably don't want to use that computer.
Huh.
But it was a part of their verification part, which is why it was around years after they no longer made Macs that even had, drives on them. I'm not talking a couple of years. I mean, like, reasonably nobody had a Mac that had a drive on it. That app was still there because it was a part of the checksum and verification of the integrity of the software. Similarly, I think chess is kind of like that, although there are probably people that actually play the chess app.
But it's the only game Apple's ever included on their machine. Well, I don't know if it's ever, but that they still include.
The only one I know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But subsequently, trying to rip that crap out will make your system a little unstable, is what I'm saying. So probably don't want to do that.
I've been using a new utility on the Mac. I think it's pronounced Calibre. 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 That's how VoiceOver says it.
It's it's the BRE's pronunciation of British English. So
gotcha.
We would spell that with an ER, but usually words that we end in burr are BRE for them. Like center in the UK is CENTRE, not TER.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So we're just spelling it all wrong.
No, that's why our English is better than theirs, because it actually makes sense. Like you look at their word and you're like, century?
Right? And then your screen reader reads it differently. Then, yeah. So, ebook-convert will take a .mobi book or a .pdf and convert it to an RTF or any other format. I think any other format. I've been using the ebook-convert line in Terminal and then paste in the paste in the file itself into Terminal, and it'll go convert that to the format that I need it to be, followed by, for example, output.rtf, and it puts it into an RTF. Because apparently Pandoc can convert files to PDF, but as it so kindly told me, I can convert files to PDF, but not from PDF. So I had to find an alternative solution, and GPT helped me find this one.
Oh, so you're using just Calibre on the command line?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the app is in my applications, but I
but
don't
you're
think
just
I've
using
opened it.
Okay, yeah, because I have it downloaded, and if I could only figure out how to get access to some of the Kindle books, I would use that to convert those into EPUB. Not because I'm pirating anything, just because I would like to be able to read my ebook in something like Voice Stream Reader, so I can lock my phone while I'm reading the Kindle book instead of, the phone is always on, and, you accidentally tap the screen, and now not only have you lost your spot, but, yeah, all that. I should talk to a friend of the show about the best way to accomplish that task right here.
Yeah, you should.
It's just funny how neither one of us wants to say his name, but yeah.
But he knows who he is.
It's absolutely. That's so funny because I thought you were going to say it and you didn't. I was like, oh. But yeah, that is a path I need to pursue. Again, just to make reading easier for me. I'm not interested in pirating anybody's stuff or anything like that. And honestly, I paid for the book. I just want it in a different format. Because, can't lock my phone and continue to listen to a Kindle book.
You can't share the Kindle book to voice stream reader.
Nope, you cannot do that. That would be nice if that was an integration. Like I would be happy if they had that type of integration where it's like, oh, you can connect this to your Amazon account and we can therefore download and decrypt your books and you can read them in voice stream. Like I would absolutely pay for that. Mm-hmm. But that's not a thing that can be done. I also have a ton of not a ton. I have like a handful of Kobo books because I paid for a not bundle hunt, humble bundle. Yeah, that's how you say it. Of some Marvel Universe books or something I was going to give to the kids. And I was like, well, first you got to figure out how to convert them to regular EPUB so they can just open them up on the iPad and iBooks or books.
Books.
So tell me, what the hell is wrong with Apple, man? Like, I really want to know. Why? What is the music app called on the iPhone? Music. There's a books app called Books. Messages. Mail. You know how difficult it is to search for how to do something with said app if if the name of the app is the thing that the app does?
Yes, I do. Because it never fails. At some point, end up reading directions for Android and sending messages on Android.
Yep. Or sending messages.
If they would have stuck the I there and kept it there.
Or you inevitably end up with the best messaging platform for it's like I'm trying to figure out how Apple, like it's too late. Podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out how to do something in podcasts because neither one of us was sure how to do it, and like that was a very difficult search. I have found myself going back to GPT for a second. I have found myself going to GPT more when I'm trying to find out information instead of Googling. I will DuckDuckGo search something if I know it exists and like I have enough information to find it. I just don't know exactly where it is, right? Let's say, I'm looking for the H6 essential shotgun mic attachment, right? Like, I know where that is. Like I know it's a thing and I also know a couple of places to look for, but I will search for that. Or I'll take that back. Actually, I did this today for the H4, right? H4 software downloads. Zoom H4 essential software, right? I'll DuckDuckGo search that and that'll get me where I'm going because I know kind of what that is. But if I'm interested in like, what are some good models of, portable scanners, for example. Like I've been doing those types of things in GPT and then going from there to look at specific products on websites on the web.
What are some good recipes for dinner? Because you can get the information you need without having to wade through all the ads and extra information. You just type your question, it gives you the response, and then you can follow the links or do your own ducking or searching later to find more information that you need.
It's better at wading through the crap. Is the way that I look at it. Because like I said, there's so much crap on the web now that you search for something that I could have searched for. I don't want to be that old man yelling at the clouds, but whatever. If I'm yelling at the clouds, I'm yelling at the clouds. I remember being able to Google for programming problems or search on DuckDuckGo for programming problems and getting usually a Stack Overflow, at least 2 or 3 Stack Overflows that were somewhat related, if not directly related. Probably somebody's post on their blog that I never heard of, but you look at their blog and see, oh, this guy's been writing about programming for, 10 years. He's been writing on WordPress since, there'll be a Reddit thing, right? And now it's like, I don't even know. I've never heard of this site before. And the point of the article they're talking about doesn't even address the thing that I'm looking for. No. So yeah, I found myself spending a lot more time, and I'm still using Mac GPT most of the time though.
Okay.
Mostly because it's just a shortcut away. Control F11 and I'm in there.
GPT's Mac and Windows app is now more integrated with the operating system, and I should download that and play with it for a little bit. Maybe that's what I'll do over the next little while is download the GPT Mac app and play with it. Because it also is more integrated with VS Code, and you can use it like you would with Copilot. But the code in some instances is coming out better and more efficient.
Yeah, for old Canvas, surprisingly, with a couple of little scripts I've written, like, and I say surprisingly in the way of like, I can look at this and like, oh, okay, yeah, you did exactly what I needed you to do. Like, I don't need to ask you, are you sure that's the best way to do that? But more importantly to me is I have started to notice with, code that it is generated, that it is pointing out like, hey, you know, this is how to accomplish a thing, but also I don't have to follow up with the questions like, is this code secure? Is there a way to make the security of it better? Like, it's automatically filling that in. And I'm not sure if that's the case for everybody or if it's just, you know, my history is, you know, having an effect on that or not, but I like it.
Always interesting to ask ChatGPT, what do you know about me?
Yeah, see, I don't ask those kind of questions.
Yeah, but I do because it tells me what memories it's stored about the conversations we've had.
Yeah, see, what I mean is like I just never ask those kind of questions. Like I think I've only Googled myself once in life.
Yeah. I've Googled you more than that.
Right. Like you probably Googled me more than I've Googled myself. You probably Googled me more this year than I've Googled myself in my entire life. Like that. I think the time I Googled myself was probably even before I knew you.
Yeah, but when I Google you, that Blab video still comes up where we talked about like iOS 6 or something like that. Good old Blab.
No, I have Googled myself since then because you told me about that one time. I was like, oh, let me see if I Google myself, if I find that video. And I did not, I think it was like on the second page of results for me.
Yeah.
And that's when I really was like, okay, so Google really is kind of filtering, and this is why I'm still using Google too. Google really does rearrange your search results based off what they know about you.
Yep, but now it's our GPTs that are rearranging their responses to us based on what it knows. And I don't remember what the query was, but I asked Meta to do something for me. And it came back and gave me the information I needed. All hands free. Didn't even have to really think about it. I just like asked the question and then had the answer. I'm like, oh, that's dangerous. Because always listening assistance. I don't know why it's different when it's on my head versus when it's in my house, but it's different.
You should be used to it now. All these years you got Alexa, man.
I know. Alexa seems to be getting smarter too lately. Like,
Siri is not.
Yes, Siri is not.
I really don't understand that. Like, all joking aside, I really don't understand it. I asked a question today, and what was I looking for? UPS drop-off point. And I needed specifically for it to be a drop-off, not just a UPS store, because I knew I wasn't going to make it there before they close, because it's Saturday. Yeah. And, like... essentially, I had to go type into the search address bar, UPS drop off near in my zip code. And then it's like, okay, I found one and that worked perfectly. I could not get this to give me any location. They would come up with one location that was like, I don't know, 8 miles away. And I'm like, I know there's something closer. Even after I had looked it up, and it's still like, what is the problem? You know where I'm at. I'm using words that are English, like UPS drop off. This is how they refer to their locations. They're UPS drop off locations. It's not like I'm like, hey, where can I drop off a package for UPS? No,
right?
Can you please give me the nearest UPS location that is, drop off location? Right? Why can't you find the answer to this? And then you're not even smart enough to be like, oh, well, maybe I should ask GPT. Is it okay if I ask GPT? It's like, no, I found this. It's like, no, that's not it. Oh, well, that's all I found. And then she said it with attitude like the second time. She's like, Well, that's all I found. What the fuck you mean?
Oh,
I realized I said that after I said it, so I try to leave you a little bit of a cut so you can clip that off. But that's how I felt. It's like, what did you mean? That's all you found? Like, listen, you come out of that phone, man, we gonna fight. Hold on, let me change you to a dude so it'll be all right if I punch you.
oh, yes, it is not getting smarter. Gemini is on iOS now, and you can apparently have live conversations with it. So I wonder if it would be better than Siri. The problem I have with live conversations, you can't do anything else. Like,
right.
I want to use it. I want to like it, but
I think at least for me, the best use case of that is going to be something like glasses or something along those lines. I'll tell you what I've really been liking. I've been thinking about the different form factors for having wearable AI. The Shocks Open Run Pro 2s. Those are nice, man. Those are really, that's actually what I was using last night. I was going to make a recording. I was just like, man, I just keep working. Got to pull out the phone to do too much stuff. Which is another thing I would like to be able to do. Like, hey, I want to make a recording. So, hey, assistant or whomever, take an audio recording. And then I could have recorded what I was thinking at the time, which is like, hey, I'm out here technically working. Well, I'm out here working, moving stuff around, doing this, listening to music on the Open Run Pro 2s. The music is sounding really good, but I can still hear everything going on in case a raccoon runs up in the yard, starts screwing with the trash. Things like that. But man, those headphones really do sound good. And it would be nice if they were connected into, if a wearable with that kind of sound, was connected to the cloud or connected to the cloud through my phone. And I could say, hey, whomever, whether that be Siri or GPT or Claude or whatever, and have conversations in that manner would be great. Having a conversational interface, right? For me, or having something like that in glasses. But man, I'm really liking the Open Run Pro 2s. Like they have rapidly become my favorite Shocks, partially because they got a USB-C port that does it, but the sound, man, the music. I kind of forgot I had on Shocks for a second.
Yeah.
I was listening to music. I was like, oh man, wait. I can't actually scratch my ear. There's not anything in my ear.
I want Ray-Bans to get there, and I think they potentially could, because if you go back before you had those on, the Ray-Bans, in my opinion, were one of the better sounding open ear headphones. And right now you could say, hey, Meta, start recording, and that will record a up to 3 minute video for you. And it has the spatial audio.
Yeah. Spatial audio. That's the way to put it. Yeah.
Yep. And then you can also say, hey, Meta, and actually ask it questions. It'd be interesting if, did you find your glasses? Because it'd be interesting if you started trying to use those. Can you wear, I don't know if that would feel weird.
No.
Can you wear the Meta Ray-Bans?
No. Because the arms are going to cross over the
yeah.
Like that's the only problem.
And it would drive me crazy. Anyways, it would be interesting though if you ask some of the same questions. But if Meta can get that audio, or Ray-Ban can get that audio to where the new Shocks are, then I think that would become my favorite assistant. I mean, it already is my favorite assistant, but
I do need to set my glasses back up. I didn't lose them. I just like wiped them. So I am going to set my Meta glasses back up. I just wiped them and I want to kind of reinstall stuff. They were acting a little weird with connecting. So I'll probably try to get that done in the next few days, because I am interested in the technology there as a wearable. And there's, of course, rumors floating around that Apple, for some reason, Apple just now started working on this, according to the rumors. I don't really believe that to be the case. But, again, I really want, despite the fact I think Apple might make the nicest looking pair of glasses, then they would probably be integrated and able to use the phone in the way that Meta's, glasses or anybody else's probably are not going to be. I really want Google to get back in this space. And it's because they will be powered by Android, I would assume. Just one would assume this is what they would do. And it will be more open, and it will be, built on a system where, Google's engineers, I think, intend on people poking at stuff.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And Apple, absolutely not. I don't feel like Meta built their platform with that in mind as well. So, I think about being able to sideload certain apps. And again, Google did it 10 years ago with Google Glass. They were just a little early. And society wasn't ready for it yet.
Yeah.
But I do wish that they were once again in this space right now. Like that would be an instant buy for me if they drop some.
I thought they were going to this year.
Even with the potential of them killing them, 4 years later, I'd still will buy them. Yeah, I thought they were going to drop some in August. That's honestly why I thought they were jumping out there early too, just in case they were like, well, we don't know what Apple's doing. Apple may come out and be like, hey, here are the
Apple glasses.
Apple Glass.
The eyeglass.
Now, you know what? Apple would have just called them glasses.
Yep. So then when you Googled, how do I do this?
Reset my glasses.
And see, that's how we bring it back to earlier in the show. If you fell asleep, go back and listen.
Oh, man. But you notice what they would do? They just call it glasses.
Yep.
They had this big, long video. It'd be audio described. It'd be nice. And at the end, it was like,
it'll just be stopping the music and then sudden deep voice. Glasses
by Apple. What? Are you serious? Somebody in their marketing department is really, really pushing for them to change the name of the phone to just phone.
Oh, and on that note, we should probably wrap it up for today.
Yep, we would like to thank everybody for listening. Special shout out to Robin Frost for catching our editing mistake and for being one of the first. Like, listen, everybody wants those listeners that as soon as the show is out, they go listen, right? I used to be a listener like that too before life got busy. So
not to our show, but
actually I did with DM very early. And then I got tired of hearing myself say what I just said yesterday. So I was like, man, screw it. Or I had edited it and then it was like, well, why am I listening to what I just edited it and then published, which it was usually just to make sure it published right. And then I would just stop listening. So I did do that to our show. I don't do it to this one. Anyway, thanks to everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Tell a friend about the show. We want to thank our tip jar supporters. If you experienced any issues with your tips recently, those should be sorted out here fairly shortly if they're not already sorted out. And we would like to let you know how to get in touch with us if you have feedback, suggestions, questions, comments. You can send an email to feedback@technicallyworking.show. He's on Mastodon. He's Payon, Payon, at dragonscave.space. That's DRAGONSCAVE.space. Space.
If you had a mixer, Damashe, you could do things like that.
Oh, man, that's a whole conversation we got to have, too. I really want to buy some stuff, but I can't. I'm Damashe, Damashe, unmute.community. And you can also interact using the hashtag technically working. And I will thank you in advance for capitalizing the T and the W there, just so the screen readers read it correctly. This has been Technically Working, episode 85. You all have
Is that
a great
a question
week.
or a statement?
Yeah, it was a statement.
Okay, because I'm like, I don't remember which one we're on.
Yeah, no, that's 85. Pretty sure.